All right, man, peace. You know, brothers, I probably made this analogy before, but sometimes you have a family member or a homeboy who meets a new girl and they introduce you to the young lady and you say to yourself, they're not going to work. You could just tell. You could tell by the vibe and by the energy. You know how your cousin is or your homeboy is, and you could just read the spirit on his new girl that they're not going to work. And it's a very similar dynamic with what the story is on the Lakers and their head coaching search, which is so disrespectful to Luke Walton. Jason Kidd supposedly wants the LA Laker job, and that shit won't work. If he becomes the head coach of the Lakers, him and LeBron will be butting heads so hard. It reminds me of the notion that was put out by the Lakers back in 2012 when they hired Mike D'Antoni. Remember, Kobe Bryant said, oh yeah, I've always wanted to play for Coach D'Antoni. I played for him in the Olympics. I remember growing up watching him play in Italy. He's an offensive genius and he's a mastermind and blah, blah, blah. And halfway through the season, they were at each other's throats. You know why? Because there was only one coach that could deal with Kobe Bryant, and that was Phil Jackson. But Kobe wanted to prove that he could win without Phil Jackson, and of course he failed. LeBron James still has not admitted that the best place for him was Miami. The best head coach for him was Pat Riley / Eric Spoelstra, because that was the only tandem who was willing to tell LeBron the truth to his face, tell him to sit his ass down, tell him to get the fuck out of my office, go back to practice, because that's what his ass needed. This Jason Kidd thing, if they hire him, is going to blow up in everybody's face. Jason Kidd, no disrespect, is a snake, always been a snake, always going to be a snake. And snakes don't change. All they do is shed their scales. So anyway, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
But I want to transition, guys, because we know there's a potential coaching change looming in LA. Our Adrian Wojnarowski tweeting this: Jason Kidd will be among the serious candidates for the Lakers coaching job if Luke Walton is dismissed. League sources telling ESPN that's expected to give Kidd some pause on pursuing the Cal opening.
Jason Kidd needs to keep pursuing that Cal job, because he needs to go to college and learn how to be an actual coach. There's a big difference between being a star NBA point guard and being a great coach. From what I understand, he's not very good at drawing up plays. And to me, it's glaring. Whenever you see a coach leave a team and it's basically the same roster that they had the year before, and all of a sudden they jump up 15, 20 wins, that's a referendum on that previous coach. It really is. I mean, no disrespect, but Jason Kidd, he got totally outshone by Mike Budenholzer.
Now, apparently. Stephen, I want to start with you on this. Is Kidd a good fit for the Lakers?
No.
Well, the answer would be no, number one, because I think the best available, suitable pick for the Los Angeles Lakers is Tyronn Lue.
That's the only suitable pick, Stephen A. Smith. You know that, and I know that. LeBron James cannot play for anybody else at this point in his career but Tyronn Lue. Tyronn Lue and LeBron James, they're like that couple that been together for 15 years. They fuss and fight, but at the end of the day, you know they're going to end up snuggled up with one another. Every once in a while, the chick spazzes out, comes at him with a kitchen knife. He leaves the house for a while, then he comes back, and they end up watching their favorite show on TV together. That's LeBron and Tyronn Lue.
Who coached LeBron to a championship in Cleveland, who guided the Cleveland Cavaliers to 3 consecutive NBA Finals appearances, who changed the system, made adjustments during the playoffs compared to the regular season, wasn't given credit for that. He's also a former Laker who won championships as a player with the Los Angeles Lakers. So,
right, but I'm not quite sure what difference that's going to make, Stephen A. Smith. At the end of the day, Tyronn Lue was a journeyman. He played for a lot of teams. What really matters is that Tyronn Lue understands LeBron. LeBron understands Tyronn Lue.
So the pedigree is there. He is respected by Magic Johnson and those guys. He is somebody that would be given strong consideration. Plus, he's somebody that LeBron would not mind having at all. That's point number one.
Tyronn Lue, he's almost like the Kevin Bacon of the NBA. Like they used to have that game 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. Tyronn Lue played with Kobe Bryant and Shaq and Michael Jordan. He coached LeBron James. And he's very good friends with Allen Iverson, who he's known for getting stepped over by. Tyronn Lue, the Kevin Bacon of the NBA.
Point number two, and I want to make sure I'm very careful about what I'm saying. I've been told there's no way that they're really considering Jason Kidd.
Nor should they.
He's not on their list. Now that's what I'm hearing. But I also want to emphasize I'm not covering the NBA like that. As much as I cover these games or what have you, I'm not on the phones with these executives every single day.
Get out of here, Stephen A. Smith. You mean to tell me that you have a show every day and you just talking shit and making stuff up? I didn't know that. I thought you was saying stuff based on information. Get out of here. I'm shocked.
As intimately as the great Adrian Wojnarowski is. So I'm certainly not trying to cast any aspersions on any of his reporting. Listen to this man, because
you better not. You say something about Woj, your ass might get canned tomorrow. ESPN don't play when it come to Woj.
Because he's usually right on the money. He's my friend. I respect the hell out of him. But in this particular story, the Lakers are saying, no, we're not interested in Jason Kidd.
Well, did you call up Woj, since you claim that he's your friend, and ask him where he got that story from? Or who it is who's diming out the Lakers? Because the Lakers could say anything. Why would the Lakers say, yes, we're interested in Jason Kidd when they still have Luke Walton as the coach, Stephen A. Smith? Does that make any sense? Why would you contact the Lakers and ask them about that when you should have contacted Woj?
And they want to make sure that that's clear. I don't know why, but they wanted to make sure that that was clear. Number 3, Max Kellerman, I'll give this to you. Tyronn Lue, if that's your man, I got no problems with it. But if there's an open search for a coach, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring this name up again. I want my man Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson is done in the NBA, Stephen A. Smith. He's finished. Now, Magic Johnson could sort of be willing to give him a chance, but I don't think that Rob Pelinka is going to be willing to give him a chance. The overall sentiment surrounding Mark Jackson is that he's a coach who utilizes a lot of antiquated offensive schemes. He's more of a rah-rah guy. Of course, he's very knowledgeable about the game of basketball, but there are certain guys who they've become sportscasters for so long that they lose their mojo, quote unquote, when it comes to coaching. And Mark Jackson never really won anything with the Golden State Warriors. People forget that. Some coaches are just coaches who could turn a team from bad to competitive. And Mark Jackson just might be that guy. We saw that with Doug Collins way back in the day, 30 years ago with the Chicago Bulls. Everybody's not a championship level head coach.
Mark Jackson, who used to coach the Golden State Warriors.
Plus, it does not help Mark Jackson that he's an evangelical Christian, and he has no problem telling you that he believes that homosexuality is a sin. That's one of the reasons why Golden State got rid of his ass.
I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know how anyone can even think to justify why this man would not be considered as a candidate for a head coaching job in the National Basketball Association, considering the level of success and the foundation that he contributed to the Golden State Warriors.
Well, Steve, it's very obvious that if he was as successful as you say and he's still not being considered by other franchises, that means that the reason why he's not being considered is not purely basketball related. And I'm sure that you know that.
And the way Steve Kerr, to his credit, has taken that and really ballooned that to another level. It started somewhere. If Tyronn Lue is the coach, I got no problems with it. But if there's an open search, damn it, Mark Jackson should be strongly considered for that coaching job because he has proven that he warrants strong consideration.
I have news for you, Stephen A. Smith. Rob Pelinka is not going to risk his job hiring Mark Jackson. He's just not. And Magic Johnson, I don't believe has much to do with the overall ins and outs of how that franchise is ran. I think that Magic Johnson is more just a face.
Well, first let me quickly address your Mark Jackson point. He's in a situation not so dissimilar to Buck Showalter, the Yankees manager, who was really good at developing a farm system. Developing players, getting them to a certain point, but was not given enough opportunities to prove he could win a championship with the team. They gave the job to Joe Torre, and still I think of Buck like that. Great to develop you to a certain point. Can he get you over the top? Mark Jackson at this moment, because a lot of the advanced analytics are unflattering toward his offense, but we all saw him instill confidence and really think outside the box in terms of how Steph and Clay could shoot from the outside when they had the green light, all those kind of things, and that's important. But you know, he hasn't yet proven he can get a team over the top, and for a Lakers team that not only wants to develop young players, but get them over the top, I think Mark Jackson would be a controversial pick.
He would definitely be a controversial pick, and just to add on to Max Kellerman's point, I also think that what hurts Mark Jackson is that in 2013, he was able to get the Golden State Warriors out of the first round They defeated I believe that they won 57 games that year. The 57-win Denver Nuggets, that was the team that was without Carmelo Anthony. They were winning in a very team basketball-oriented style that may have been George Karl's last year or second to last year. And I think they won a good amount of games in the regular season, as I was saying, somewhere around 56, 57 games. And Golden State won somewhere around 47, 48 games that regular season. And they were able to, to score the upset over the Denver Nuggets. And then the second round, I think they took the Spurs to 6 games. And Steph had one game where he scored like 45 points or 48 points in San Antonio. And then the next season, they don't take another step. They don't even get to the second round. The Golden State Warriors lost in 7 games in the first round to the Clippers. So I think that gave the ownership of the Golden State Warriors all the ammo they needed to get rid of Mark Jackson.
Let me say this about Ty Lue or any coach for LeBron James, okay? First,
make sure that you bring your antidepressants. Make sure that you have a doctor and a psychiatrist on staff and on call if you're going to coach LeBron James.
First of all, Jason Kidd, I don't think Jason Kidd's a great idea either, Stephen A. But I judging on what he did with the Bucks, and then you see what happens when Budenholzer gets in there.
Ding.
There. But I'll say this. Ty Lue, any coach that the Lakers hire, has to be okayed by LeBron. What point is...
Any coach that the Lakers hire has to be hired by LeBron. Not okayed by LeBron, hired by him. Because that's the energy, that's the atmosphere that has been encouraged around LeBron James, that he's this superlative decision maker and understands the administrative aspect of running an NBA team. He's the proverbial GM, and everything that you do has to run through him. And then when it doesn't work, he blames you.
Is it like, what's the point if LeBron doesn't want that coach? It's simply not going to work. I don't hold that against LeBron. I think that's a good idea. But the question as to, is Jason Kidd a good coach for the Lakers, really comes down to, does LeBron James think Jason Kidd's a good coach for...
As simple as that.
Coach for the Lakers. If the answer is no, then it's a no. I suspect it's a no.
I suspect it's a no as well.
And Ty Lue is a yes.
I will say this to you. The only thing that I would say is that I don't like the Buck Showalter comparison, even though, because I know you were right in terms of what you were alluding to him as a Yankee manager. The problem is we just saw him in Baltimore, and because we saw him in Baltimore, that's what most people in the modern era will remember him by.
But we haven't seen...
Right, but that's not what Max Kellerman is going by, so that's a red herring, Stephen A. Smith. Knock it off.
Seen Mark Jackson with someone else yet.
That's right.
We haven't seen Mark Jackson with
That's
someone else
exactly
yet.
why I said that's a bad analogy, but that's just it.
Basically, it feels like the coach is going to be LeBron's decision.
The coach is going to be LeBron, not LeBron's decision. The coach is going to be LeBron.
No Gronk.
But anyway, that's basically it on that. We'll see what happens with the Lakers in the offseason. I'm sure that it's going to be something apocalyptic. Wouldn't shock me at all. So peace.